Okay, so my name is Kayla Gibson. I was a bridal and event makeup artist for almost 15 years. I kind of stopped doing that last summer just because my job has kind of shifted. But one of the biggest things, I'm going to go ahead and pin this comment here. I'm going to show you guys how to get a bridal or event makeup look. It doesn't necessarily have to be bridal without having to spend like $200 to $400. Now, I am not saying don't go spend money on a bridal artist because they are amazing, but I know it is just not in some people's budget. So I'm going to give you guys a whole step-by-step makeup tutorial on how to get bridal or event makeup. You could even use it as like a date night. When I was a makeup artist, I specialized in like soft natural glam. Tell me hello, you guys, when you pop on. And so that's kind of what I'm going to show you for the most part. So first things first, you always want to skin prep. Now, if you ever are going to go to an event and you want to get like dermaplaning or a facial done, get it done 1 to 2 months before your event. See how your skin takes it, and then you can kind of pop into getting like a facial a couple days before if your skin does okay. Okay, so first things first, skin prep is going to be literally one of the best things you can do for your skin to have that makeup looking really, really good. So a lot of my clients would say like my skin's just really dry, it's just always flaky. A lot of times it's because they weren't using a moisturizer or an exfoliant, and you definitely want to do that. Hello, friends. So I am going to start out with some eye patches because one of the biggest things is having hydrated under eyes, and then you're not going to have that creasing underneath your eyes in pictures, and you know, the cakiness and blah blah blah. I do have these. If you say bridal, I can link them for you. So I have a whole video on skincare if you want to go and look at that, but I've already done my skincare. I let my makeup sit, or I let my skincare sit. And then you guys know how I'm like SPF. Some people are going to disagree with this, and I'm going to be here to tell you that every single makeup artist has a different idea of how makeup should go on, their point of view. This is mine. I am going to say if you can skip the sunscreen on your face for the day. I can't tell you how many photographers have said thank you so much for not using SPF on your clients, because it creates a flashback. So it creates like a white cast on their face, and photographers have always praised me on not doing that. And I know it's just for one day, so it's okay. But I'm going to go ahead and prep here, and I am going to use this Plush Prep Mist. I also have a link for this if you want. This has hydration, caffeine, hyaluronic acid, and I think vitamin E, all of the yummy things that you want for your face on your wedding day or your event day, whatever it may be. And because we're going to go a little bit more glam, I am going to start with the eyes, and I'm actually going to build my palette with you guys as we do this so that you don't look at my palette and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. But first things first, we do need to prep our eyes. One way that I do that, now you can use an actual eye primer, okay? MAC Paint Pot primers and Urban Decay both have great primers that I always would reach for. Hello, friends. When I was a makeup artist doing event makeup. But for the sake of this, because this is honestly the easiest thing, is just use your main highlight. Now, I am going to show you guys how to use some creams, because the majority of my clients were always like not makeup wearers, or they were soft or natural glam, and creams just look so natural and they look like your skin. And that's what the majority of my clients used to want back when I was an active makeup artist. So my eyes are going to look a different color than my face. That is because I use SPF on my face religiously, and so I have to match my face to my neck. So we're gonna have our eyes are gonna look a little dark and orange. Don't worry, trust the process. Okay, there's a lot of trust the process situations here. And the reason I'm going to do my eyes first, I need to find this, is because I'm going to use a couple dark colors, and sometimes when you have that fallout or the eyeshadow that gets underneath your eyes, it's easier to clean up when you haven't had your foundation on yet. Okay, so I like to prep my eyes by also setting with a setting powder. This is the best setting powder that I have used in a very, very, very long time. I absolutely love it. And thousands of my customers love this this setting powder. So you can also say Bridal and I'll send it to you. But it's just freaking tastic. I absolutely love it. It does not have a white cast. And some powders do. So you have to be very, very careful with that. Okay, I am setting my eyes because I want my makeup and my eyeshadow to go on smoothly. Now, if you have too creamy of eye primer and you don't set it, now some people are going to disagree with me on this. I have seen this for years, okay? If you don't set it with a powder, you're going to have kind of a patchy, like skitty type of blend. And you just don't want that on your big day. And let's see if I can find my eyeshadow brush here. Okay, well, where is it? Okay, one thing I'm going to tell you guys is I do think that pinks, rosy tones look good on the majority of people. So that's what I'm going to work with today is colors like that. Maybe we might not be doing anything if I can't find my brush. And we're just going to have to go with one of these. Okay, well, we're switching gears. Okay, so first things first, I am going to add this color Pup. Okay, it is a neutral transition shade. Okay, and here's why you want a transition shade. You want a gradient effect from like the colors you're gonna put on your eyelid up to your eyebrow. Some people do not use a transition shade, and that's fine, to each their own. However, I'm gonna tell you it's gonna look much prettier and natural in pictures if you have just kind of a gradient ombre look going up to your eyebrows, okay? So this color is Pup. I'm just sweeping this back and forth. And a lot of my clients were always scared of like dark eyeshadow or too bright of eyeshadow, too much eyeshadow, but I always told them like, just remember, pictures like will decrease the look of your eye makeup by like 20% or more. So you want to go a little bit extra, okay? I do not have the eyeshadow brush that I normally use for this outer corner. So we're just going to go with what we've got here. Let me see what this is over here. I like taking a more dense side of an eyebrow or of an eyeshadow brush. You guys, I haven't been live in like so long. I'm like, wait, how do I talk to people? Okay, so I'm going to tap into this color called Revival. This is kind of like a purpley undertone. And I just think that like the purples look really, really pretty. And they don't look like too harsh, okay? Some people like to use black on the outer corner. That's totally fine. I just think like the purple or kind of the rich browns just look really, really stunning. So I'm just tapping this in the outer corner. Again, you're going to trust the process here, okay? You're going to trust it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this fluffy brush and we're going to blend it. Now, starting with less and adding more is always best because you can't take it away, but you can add more. And you can save this video. The really cool thing is that makeup is, you can wash it off, okay? And so if you have an event coming up, I would save this video and then practice what I'm showing you. And then by the time, you know, you have your event or your wedding, you can do the makeup yourself and feel confident in it. Okay, so I am just taking this and I'm just doing like little swirly motions. Now I don't want to move that color too much, but I am just trying to blend it so it's really soft. Okay, do you guys see how like it looked really harsh at first, but now it's like very soft. It's a little bit more gradient. Okay, and I am just kind of pulling some of those colors up here. Okay, the next color I'm going to use is Soulmate. This color was one of my most used colors for my bridal parties when I was doing active bridal makeup. You guys, I hate that I can't find my eyeshadow brush. It's fine, it's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna take another dense brush, or you can use your finger. Now, some of my clients did not like a super shimmery eye, but they just wanted something, like a little something. So I'm gonna show you the difference if you add this color or a shimmer with a brush as opposed to your finger. Okay, so see how it's like really light, just really, really light, really pretty. Okay, hi Emery, hi Bristol. And this is how it's going to look. Now see how we have that fallout. Don't worry, we're gonna clean it up. And you're just going to pop that color right on top and kind of meet it in the middle with this darker shade. But do you see how much more bright that is? It looks really, really pretty in pictures. People are always scared of the shimmer, but especially when I do the eyes first, they're like, oh, this like seems like a lot. But then when I finish the look, they're like, oh, okay, I see what you were doing there. I love when I don't have anything to wipe my makeup off on. So, hello, you guys. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, like when I told you guys, it's best to always go back in and add more if you need than to put like a ton of eyeshadow on and you can't take it back, okay? So I have that color, Revival, I have Soulmate, and then I'm going to take Cafe, which has a little bit of a cooler undertone, but it's just really pretty on a lot of people. And I'm going to add that to the lower part of my crease. So I went up pretty high with Pup, but now with Cafe, I'm going to keep it a little bit lower. And we're just going to marry all of those colors. And anytime I wear this color combo, I get asked about it. So I should just make it my like bridal eyeshadow look. If you want a more pinky tone, you could use pomegranate in this outer corner. Or you could use like Paris if you are a Saint user, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay. We're going to move on. Now, some people don't like eyeliner on the top. Okay. And normally I would just use like an eyeshadow. This is what I do for a lot of my like mature clients is I would just use a dark eyeshadow and use a flat tip brush like this. And I would use setting spray actually. And I would create an eyeliner. See how that just deepens the lash line? That is something you could do. Okay. Or if you really like the pencil liner, you could do this. You could add the pencil liner to your top lid here. And you don't have to worry too much about being a little bit messy because here's how you're going to soften it. You're going to put that there and then you're going to use a brush and you're going to soften it by almost like just kind of coloring on top of it. Not coloring, but you know, just dragging. Just dragging. I have actually, I think I'm going to be making like some guides on everyday makeup looks or day to nighttime makeup looks, things like that. I think I'm going to do that for all you guys. So, all right, I am going to now, because these do not look the same, but do you see how that's much softer than if I were to just like draw that kohl liner on top? I'm going to go ahead and now transition over to this Revival color since I have that on this other side. But this is one of my favorite ways to deepen the lash line without it looking like too harsh, especially because so many of my clients were really, really natural. I'm going to have a different color over here because I used that brown before. Maybe I should deepen it right now. But I just had a lot of them that literally never wore makeup. They were actually really scared to get their makeup done. The bride would book me and then she's like, yeah, okay, my mother-in-law, she's really nervous. You know, she's never had her makeup done before. All she wears is sunscreen, that kind of thing. So those are the clients I used to work with, are people who had no idea what they were doing with their makeup. So, okay, now I personally, this is just a personal preference, think that, hi you guys, tell me where you're watching from. I personally think that having false lashes on the day of your wedding make a huge difference, or an event, if you have an event that you're really dressing up for. I typically love Ardell Wispies. I do think that they are hard for some people to put on if you're not used to wearing lashes or applying lashes. So I'm going to show you these Lilac Street ones. I personally don't love Lilac Street glue, but that's what I have right now. There is a different company that I really like their glue, but I need to order more. Hopefully this is good. But I am going to use these volume lashes. Now, I hardly wear lashes anymore, you guys, just because I use my lash serum and I just wear my mascara. But you gotta go all out for your big day. So this is how I'm going to apply the Lilac Street ones. It comes with this little wand. Again, if you want some recommendations on some really good lash glue, I can give those to you guys, because like I said, I don't love the Lilac Street lash glue. So, and that's just a personal preference. Some people love it. Okay, I am now going to pop over to these two. I am going to use size 14 and then size 12. The size 12 is going to come on the inner corner, and I'm going to have the thicker ones on the outside. Now, some people, longtime listener, first time commenter, oh, thanks for commenting. You're so Middle of North Dakota. Is it hot there? My friends I have some friends that live in South Dakota. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and when you do that glue, if you use a glue like this, you're going to take a mirror and you're going to look down. Okay, that is just the easiest way to do it. You look down and then you just put the lash right underneath. I do feel like the lashes underneath do look a little bit more natural than the ones on top. However, like I said, I love the Ardell Wispies. That was always my go-to for my brides. Or, you know, the bridal party I was working with, it was always my go-to. And they loved them. And they always look really natural. Even my girls who had never worn lashes before really loved them. So, but you guys see how fast I'm doing this? And of course, like I said, this kind of stuff takes practice. So you'll want to practice, you know, a couple weeks before your event, a couple times just to make sure you got it down. And then you're going to be like a rock star and you're going to know what to do. 72. Oh my gosh, it was 94. You have, let's see. Hi from New York. Oh, yay. No trimming accessory or necessary. Yes, no trimming necessary. Okay, so now I'm taking that 12, size 12, and you guys will figure out what size you need for your lashes. I have long lashes, so I like to use the 14 and then, like I said, a 12 right here in the corner, okay? So I do not like how this lash went on. So we're just gonna move it over. Okay, that's a little bit better. Now, this is so much lash for me just because I am not used to wearing lashes anymore. It's really funny because when I first started on social media, I had huge lashes that I had extensions, and I don't know what made me stop doing extensions. I think that I was just ready to be more natural, and so having these on right now is kind of funny. It feels funny, but I do still wear lashes like for events, like when I go to a conference or something like that. Okay, so again, I'm just placing that glue on my lash. And then I'm going to go to my 14s, which again, these are my personal size for my personal like eyes and lash length. Because if I go any less than 12, they're like too, you can see my real lashes. Okay, so I put that glue on. I'm taking the lash like this. Let me see if I can show you. Okay. And then I'm just going to scoop it like this. Let me show you. Then I'm just going to scoop it like so. And I do think the tool matters. So I've tried to use just tweezers, regular tweezers while doing my lashes like this, and I don't prefer it. It doesn't really get in there as much as you want. So I'm now going to do the next one. And another reason I recommend lashes on your wedding day or for some kind of event, especially if you think you're going to cry, you don't have to worry about your mascara running. Although I do use a little bit of waterproof mascara for my brides' bottom lashes and just to like merge all the lashes if needed. Okay, so I have one more I'm going to apply. And I don't know that I love where that one placed. So I'm going to replace that. Do you guys see though how easy this is? You just replace them. Just like, nope, hold please. So hi you guys. And like I said, the Ardell Wispies were definitely my favorite if you don't want to have like glue. So these lashes will last you a couple days. The Ardell Wispies you could just take off at night, like when you're ready to be done. And, yeah, you can just like kind of soak them off with a warm washcloth and it doesn't like mess with your real lashes or anything like that. So, okay, I'm gonna scoop her up. No, come on. No, come on. See, you guys, I even mess up and I've been doing this for a very long time. And really it's because I need the glue to dry a little bit more. Okay, and there we go. She's on. I'm going to push this one down. And then we're going to do 112 in the corner, which this one might be dry now. The corner might be dry. Okay, so another reason I like to do the eyes first is because typically when I am prepping my client's skin, you want to give their skincare some time to settle in. And if you guys have been here since the beginning of the video, you also saw me use a balm on my lips. Now, I can't tell you how many of my customers would or my clients would have super dry, like chapped lips. I suggest like using a scrub. You can use like just brown sugar too, and really exfoliating your lips. And then while you're doing your eyes and the rest of your makeup, put a hydrating lip something on. So like you could use Laneige, you could use this $25 balm stick that I don't know where I put it because I just had this clean and now I don't. Oh, here it is. Okay, you could use this. Also, what I would absolutely do is use it underneath your eyes, okay? So especially if you're sensitive to eye creams or retinol, things like that, this balm stick is amazing. It is a Korean balm stick, so you can also say Bridal and I'll send you that too. But this is so beautiful. You're just like gonna let it kind of simmer here. Now I already used my Plush Prep Mist. Here's what I'm going to use now. I'm going to use a primer. I personally don't use primers very often. However, if you have a big event and you need your makeup to really stay, I really like the Milk or the e.l.f. primers for cream makeup. But the reason I like this one is because it has like this really pretty gold sheen. And my personal preference for my brides, for my clients, are for them to look kind of dewy. I think matte is out. Some people might disagree, but I think matte is out. I do, like when I look at pictures of me now compared to a couple years ago when I only liked matte makeup, my skin just looks like so much more natural now. So that's what I like to do. All right, while that's setting in, I know you guys can see a lot of my redness here. I did not put enough sunscreen on yesterday, and I did get a little pink at the pool. Whoops. But most people have some kind of redness, rosacea. Hey, Dawn. Hey, from Santa Cruz. And so I'm going to show you guys how to color correct that. I'm going to use this color called Aspen. And I'm going to go in. I'm just making sure I have... Here, let's do this. I'm going to go in to these red spots. The reason I like to color correct, especially, you guys can already see that redness going away, is because you don't want to pack on the makeup. When you have that professional photography, yes, your photographer will edit whatever they need to, but it can start to look a little heavy if you go too heavy. So I'm going to just color correct first, so that way I don't have to have the rest of my makeup work so hard to cover everything up. But do you guys see how that's just covering my redness so much? We're talking bridal. Okay, so this also, you guys, a lot of what I'm doing besides probably my eyes, you can do for every day. But I am really liking this Milk Hydro Grip. I think I have it linked. If you say bridal, I think I can send it to you. But it's the gold one. The green one is also good, but I just like that gold one a little bit better. And some of the e.l.f. ones are good. e.l.f. does sometimes make me break out though. So the Hydro Grip does not. The Milk Hydro Grip does not make me break out. Okay, do you guys just see how much that just like neutralized my redness? It is so amazing. Yes, Aspen is a contour, but if you want to get a makeup palette like this, like the one I'm building, and you want color matched and color correct matched, I can do that. Just say bridal. Okay, I am going to now add in a little bit of a color corrector. Now this one's very bright. I cannot find my other one that I typically use, but that's okay. I don't mind having some bright eyes. So I'm using this pink color that's going to just like neutralize some of this color underneath. I do get a lot of clients that have really dark under eyes, and I do help color correct for that. So I'm just going to make these like little veins disappear that I don't want in my pictures. And the thing I also like about color correcting is you don't have to use as much concealer underneath, because like I said, the camera can start to pick that up a bit. Unless you tell your photographer, you're just like really like, hey, make sure you edit all that out. Okay, so I am color corrected. My eyeshadow is on. I am going to now grab, my main highlight, which is right here. And this is a personal preference. I am going to actually do a full coverage look, okay? Because obviously you want to go a little heavier when you have photos. But I'm going to go into my main highlight shade, and I'm going to use the stippling method, just like this. And typically when you guys see me use Saint in a reel, you see me use it in like the one layer. I'm going to do a couple layers here, and that's because it still feels like my skin and it will still look like my skin even though I'm doing a full coverage look, okay? So the tapping method is going to give you more full coverage. Do you see that? Whereas if I were swiping, I would just be probably giving myself more of a medium coverage. And the less product you use, obviously, you can change how much you put on. I'm using the detail brush, which is typically my like medium to full coverage. If you are like, oh, I want the full shebang and you're a Saint user, use the buff brush. That girl will make sure you're full cov. Okay, I'm just going to lightly dab here. And I'm tapping over because remember, I just used the Aspen to color correct and I don't want to move that color correction. Hi, friends. But do you guys see how like my main highlight is the same color as my chest, but not the rest of my face? It's because I'm either always wearing a hat or my SPF, things like that. Okay, I'm going to tap a little bit of that over that under eye color correction just to kind of marry those colors. And tapping here and in the center. Hi! Oh my gosh, some of my cutie patootie old students are watching my video right now. They're so cute. Okay, and I'm getting up to the hairline. And you guys, it looks like I'm using a lot, but I'm actually not. I actually didn't use that much product. Okay, I do have to pull it down because you don't want it to be like one color and then not. And right here along my neck is actually not super tan, and that's because typically I either have a hat on or my face, or I like pull the sunscreen down my neck. Do you use setting powder on your eyelids before applying eyeshadow? Yes, absolutely. Yes, Raina, of course. Yes, I use this setting powder. This is my absolute favorite. I have it linked for you if you say bridal. This is my second one. It has lasted so long. All right. Now, you guys do want to brighten the center of your face. That is where you want to draw some attention. So I'm just going to add this lighter shade, and we're just going to lighten kind of the center of our face. Not too much because I don't want to add too much product on top of the main highlight I just put down, but I do want to do just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of brightness along my jawline. Jawline. And that Plush Prep Mist that I showed you guys earlier, if you're like, oh, I just need like a little more something, you can spray this throughout your application or afterwards, and it'll look really, really pretty. Okay, now the next thing. This is up to you. Some people like to use contour and bronzer. Some people are like, I just want to use one. If you said, what should I use? I would say just use bronzer if you are nervous about contour. Okay, but I am going to show you contour. I think contouring, especially for pictures, is so necessary. It's not like needed. It's like not like, you know, you don't have to, but I just think it makes your cheekbones and all your dimension pop. Do you think that the powder you have works a lot better than Saint's Vanilla Dust? I personally like it better than Saint's Vanilla Dust. But if you are someone that you're like, I just want everything in one palette, I do like the Vanilla Dust. I actually used that for a couple years before I switched to loose powder. And like I said, that's just a personal preference. I do think that this setting powder I just told you guys about, this one right here, it's like probably the best I've ever used. So yeah, it's so good. Okay, so I'm just creating some shadows and dimension. Now you guys remember, go a little heavier handed than you're comfortable with. That's because your pictures are going to need that heavier hand. You can still look more natural if you want. I am someone that I do not mind having a full coverage, so I am going a little bit more full coverage than maybe some of you are comfortable with, but that's okay. Just adjust it, and that's why I said before your event, go ahead and practice a couple times before, just to make sure like you're comfortable with what you're doing with your makeup. So I'm now going to tap that contour in. Yes, the name is, you can say Bridal, and I have a link that I'll send right to you. It's my Celeste one. I've been using it for like over a year now, maybe. Okay, this is where you definitely want to contour, especially if you're going to have those side shots, okay? You want to drag your contour from like here behind your ear. I'm not going to put a bunch right here because I don't want to accentuate those like jowls, but I do want to really get this nice and snatch. Oh, we got to blend that a little bit more. I do have some hyperpigmentation starting to go on right now. I need to visit you in middle school one day. I thought about maybe subbing next year a couple times just because I miss everyone. I miss all the kids. Okay, guys, now I'm going to go in with a bronzer. You do not have to go in with a bronzer. I actually would have some customers or clients say, I actually don't want a bronzer, just blush is fine because they have never worn a bronzer, and that's totally fine. I just think it warms up the face. Like, look how much it warms up. Isn't that pretty? And I'm just applying it in the places you might get like a little bit of sun, and I'm just warming it up. Okay, so my suggestion for blush is I really like pinks, rosy tones, or like peaches. I think this Madrid shade is so stunning on so many people. It kind of goes with our eye theme a little bit, so you could use that. I also like these colors like raspberry, but they're not as intimidating when you have them on. Now I'm going to mix the two. And I like to have mine up towards the temple, and then I bring the extra down onto the apples of my cheeks. Again, do not be scared of blush on your event day, okay? Whether it's a wedding, whether it's a family pictures, whether it's, I don't know, what other events do you guys go to? A graduation, whatever it is. Do not be scared of blush if you're going to have photography done. So like, look at that though. It still looks fairly natural, even though you can tell I'm wearing makeup. It doesn't look like I'm wearing, to me, I don't feel like I'm wearing a mask. So really pretty blush. Now, here's something a lot of people are not used to doing, and that is adding a highlighter or illuminator. I'm going to show you the difference, especially if you're getting pictures done. You don't have to use as much as me, you guys. You guys know. You guys already know that I use a lot, okay? Let's blend her in a bit. Okay, so look at the cheekbone here compared to here. It just looks a little bit more popped. So if you like that look, if you want your cheekbones to kind of look snatched, you're going to add that to the tops of your cheekbones there. I personally love me a nose highlight. It's like my favorite spot to highlight. I just think it draws a really pretty attention to your face here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of that, and some people don't do this anymore, but I think adding a little bit of eyebrow highlight is really, really pretty. So I'm going to do that. Just a little bit. Okay, how are we looking so far? I really, really, really suggest if you are having kind of a full glam, even a soft glam moment, you want to fill in your eyebrows at least a little bit. Okay, just do it. Just do it. Okay, just do it. You can't have your whole makeup done, all your makeup done, your hair done in a really pretty dress, and then have it look unbalanced without adding a little bit of color or dimension to your eyebrows. So I'm just barely filling in these spots that need like a little bit of help. And that's all I'm doing. I just barely did anything. You don't have to make them crazy. Just add a little bit of that shape and dimension back in, especially because once you're working with the makeup, it will probably lighten your eyebrows a little bit because of that natural color over top. Okay. Hold please, almost done. I know you guys hate when I do the eyebrows, which is so funny because I get asked about them all the time. It's the most bizarre thing. Okay, eyebrows done. I'm not perfecting them because I don't want to sit there forever. We need to do some setting under the eyes. Now, like I said, the setting powder you use is really important. There are a lot that create a flashback, so that like white cast in photography. So you just want to be careful that you're choosing the right one. I'm choosing a tried and true for me, and I'm just setting underneath my under eyes a little bit, not a ton because I don't want them to cake. Although that hydration work we did before should really help with them not like getting all crazy. Okay, I'm going to also set in any of the areas that I'm a little extra shiny that I don't want to be, or the areas where I tend to either sweat my makeup off, or we need to cover that girl. We need to work on her right there. Or I tend to maybe crease a little bit more. So that's where I'm going to set. Now, if you have super mature skin, You don't need to set a ton. I would use a looser brush and do it that way, or just use a setting spray. Setting spray is going to be totally fine. So I set underneath because, to make sure all my powder's punched away here, because we're going to do a little bit of under eye work. Now, earlier when I did the eyeliner on top, I still have some remnants of that eyeshadow on this brush. And this is what I like to do as my eyeliner. Now, you could absolutely use a kohl eyeliner, a pencil eyeliner. I just love the way, hey Alex, I just love the way this looks when I apply an eyeshadow. I think it looks soft. I don't think it looks too harsh. I had clients all the time that were like, no, I absolutely want to do the waterline eyeliner. And that's what I would do for them if that's what they wanted. But most of the time, since I worked with a lot of soft glam, non-makeup wearers, this is what I would do for them. And then I would add a little bit of mascara on the bottom. I do not like bottom mascara on myself, so I'm not going to do it. But I would just add just a little bit for my clients. And then the last thing we want to do is lips. Now, I probably have said 1,800 times, so I'm very sorry for that. Like I said, I haven't been live in a while. Okay, I'm going to use a rosy tone pencil. I just think rosy tone pencils are so pretty. I think they work for a lot of people. I also like to use kind of mauve undertones on a lot of people, or just kind of go along with the eye look. Now, some of my clients would be like, oh, I just want to wear clear lip gloss. And I'd be like, no. It's another one of those things where you can't have your whole face done and just have like no lip color. I would at least suggest, I'd be like, can I at least do like a tinted gloss on you? Because in pictures, like I said, your lips, you want your lips to pop a little bit as well. You just have to have, if you're going to do eyeshadow up here, you have to have a balance in your face. So now I always liked using kind of rosy tone lip colors as well. So I'm going to use this one. These Maybelline Super Stay ink crayons are really, really great. Our Saint lip tints are also great. If I would have had the lip tints when I was still doing bridal makeup, I would have absolutely used these. But this is what I use because these are really, really comfortable and they're cheap. And so when I would do a makeup, like a makeup trial for my bride, I could be like, go buy this one at the store if she liked it. And it's like $7. And it's like, she wasn't out a bunch of money because she didn't wear a bunch of makeup, but she needed it to reapply her lipstick throughout her, big day. So this, you don't have to go super dark, but I promise you colors like this look so stunning in pictures. I do have these linked. This color that I just used, I need my readers, is Reach High. And then another one that I would use for girls that wanted like a little bit more like rosy tone was a color like this. And this is Live on the Edge. But you guys don't have to go, you can do something like this, like a NYX lip oil. I know, isn't this lip color stunning? I feel like this is going to be my fall lip color. But you could use just like a lip oil over top of a lip liner. And then it's like comfy and, So play around with your lip colors. I really do think that the lip color is like one of the bigger deals. So this is how I would stop. And then as soon as I knew that they liked it, then I would set with the setting spray. I'm going to show you a couple different ones. This one is, here we go. Again, oh my gosh, how embarrassing. You guys, I'm so sorry. This one size, I didn't do it, is so good. Now, this is if you like a more mattified look. So if you don't want to be super, super shiny or you're just naturally more oily, I would totally go with this one. If you are on the drier side, if you are on combo skin and you don't mind looking a little dewy, the Charlotte Tilbury one is a slay. It's so good. So I'm going to spray that one. And do it liberally. Just do a lot. The only thing I don't like about this one is I don't love the scent, but that's okay. It's okay. Woo! But look, see, it still looks like my skin. You can still see kind of my freckles coming through. My freckle mustache, because that's where I get a lot of my hyperpigmentation in the summer. Okay, it still looks like I'm extra snatched. You guys can go extra snatched on the jawline because in pictures, it's going to look really, really good. So that is my bridal soft glam makeup look. You can do this for a bridal party. You can do this for any event, bachelorette party, family pictures, whatever it may be, where you just need to be a little bit more glam, but you don't have the funds to pay like $200 to $400 for a makeup artist, because you guys, I know it is hard out there right now. Like, things are hard. I'm sweating. It's very hot in my office. I just purchased groceries after coming back from our family cruise, and I almost threw up. I was like, how did everything become so expensive? I'm so confused. So confused. Anyway, this is the final look, friends. If you need any help, if you want a color match for this makeup for yourself, just say bridal. If you want any of the links to anything that I used today, also just say bridal. Go ahead and save this video so you can use it later, and make sure to practice a couple times before your big event so you are comfortable with your makeup application. I love you guys. Have a good day.